back, friends. This is the corner of the internet where I talk endlessly about marketing and sales for online teachers. I'm going to read you a little story this week, just a few sentences actually out of my favorite story, The Power of One. I think this quote really captures why teachers do what we do and why it's not about the money, but it's also totally about the money. Okay. So the quote is, sometimes the slightest things change the directions of our lives. The merest breath of circumstance. A random moment that connects like a meteorite striking the earth. Lives have swiveled and changed direction on the strength of a chance remark. Teachers do that all the time. We don't get to influence children the same way that their parents and their grandparents and their families do. We don't get to shape them over years, typically. We get a chance remark. And we understand the power of that chance remark. We understand that a little piece of confidence, a little piece of knowledge can completely change the trajectory of this child's life. And then we can only imagine the ripple effect that that has. So when I love the word pivot, because in the moment, you don't see it. Like, it's like a pivot between here and here, right? Like, it looks the same at this point. But when we extrapolate, it's like, okay, we're going over here or we're going over here. So the pivot point, there's not much change, but the trajectory, the lifetime impact is massive. And the sales mentor that I was speaking with earlier this week, he was saying money gets really old. Helping people never gets old. So I want to bring this back to online teaching because typically the women that I work with are pretty privileged. Like, we have the ability to say, I could be a housewife, I could be a stay-at-home mom, but I really love teaching and I'm choosing to do this because I know I'm good at it and I know the impact that it will have on the world. So I want to challenge all of you who are sitting in that comfort. A lot of the women who come to me are saying things like, yeah, the reason I want to start a business is so I can take my family on vacation every year, or, we'd really like a bigger house. I want another bedroom. Those things are nice, but they're not necessary. Like, not a lot of people come to me saying, I need to keep food on the table and I need to keep the lights on. That is how I started my business. Like, I was in that state of like single mom, lost my job, didn't have an income, didn't know what I was going to do. And I sort of accidentally found online teaching. But a lot of the people who have the comfort and the space and the ability to think about starting a business, they're not in that much pain. They're really looking to have more disposable income. So, like, cool, that's great. Obviously, you should want to take your family on vacation. You should want a bedroom for every kid. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it makes it easier to give up because it's like, okay, we're not going on vacation this year. Like, boo-hoo. We still have everything that we need. We still have a beautiful house. We still have 3 meals a day. It's okay. So making money gets old. It does. Helping kids never gets old. So if you are a teacher and you have the privilege to work for yourself in your own business, you also have a responsibility to the world to make as much money as humanly possible, because that is the measure of how many kids you've helped, how many lives you've changed, and the ripple effect that that will have in the future. So creating a space where kids can build confidence, essentially, is what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what subject, what niche you teach. You want your students, more than having them seek like a mastery level, you want them to be confident enough to take risks, because that's how they learn. So growing confident little human beings is not something that you give up on because you don't really care about that vacation that much, right? It's not about you. It's about the fact that you are an educational expert with a skill set that is desperately needed by the world. So even if you can live without that third bedroom, fourth bedroom, whatever it is you said was your goal, it's not about you. You have a responsibility and an obligation to the world to make as much money as possible to help as many families as possible. Because, once you're certain that the lights are going to stay on and there's going to be food on the table, the rest of the money is really just extra. And that's not going to keep you going. That's not going to keep you moving forward, right? Your motivation will run out as soon as you're comfortable, if it's all about you. If you can reframe that the world needs you right now, these kids are completely being failed in school. These parents are so stressed out because they don't actually know how to help their kids. Doing that work never gets old.